in the open road. I got the throttle wide open, feel my pace. Got 100 horses between my legs. No destination, no end in sight. Just me in the open road, riding into the moonlight. On my two wheels, all that I need is white lines and gasoline. Life in the fast lane, it's easy to maintain. Just twist the throttle on back and feel no pain. From the open highways, backwoods of the country, well, live free or die is the only way. On my two wheels, all that I need is white lines and gasoline. so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reckless, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, traitors that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the frame, and the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in name, the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save, stand of the brave, the US of A. Oh, traitors that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the frame, and the
All right, welcome everyone to MaxSpeedTV. This is the Loose Lug Nuts Racing Series Top Shelf Auto and Detailing Cup event at Kansas, and as Bob just pointed out, more like Cantona, is a very tight track here tonight. I am Jeff Wood, and as I just mentioned, Bob Wells is my co-host, and on the keyboards here this evening, Mr. Michael D'Amico. Welcome all to the show. It is going to be just that, a show, Bob. You know, we've been talking up here in the booth for a while about this evening. Give us some thoughts before we talk about points.
Well, Jeff, it's grandma, put your teeth in your pocketbook. It is going to be really crazy and really wild out here, Jeff. Had the opportunity to take a few laps, actually, in the 2019 package for the first time. Last time I had driven the Cup car was the old package. Wow, Jeff. Flat out all the way around. You can just drive that thing. You can put it right on the bottom of the track, which very much surprised me lap after lap. We saw in Xfinity and Truck Series action. The Highline was king. I'm not sure how it's going to play out today. Huge suck-up factor on the draft. I was playing around there with the 14. Robert Panic Manis. He'd get me on the front stretch, and I'd just get his draft on the back stretch and just slam that thing right down to the bottom and get around him. And It was a lot of fun, but this is going to be very close quarters, restrictor plate style racing tonight. Cars are on track now, currently trying to get good track position. Track position will still be a very huge key here tonight.
Yeah, and we got the track position to worry about. Nonetheless, with those cars, over 30 competitors have logged in to the sim here for Loose Lug Nuts Racing. We are going to talk about points, though, real quick, as that is the key for tonight for some of these drivers. First place, we have Wes Holland. Second place, Mitch Reeves. He's only behind by 1 point. This is the first time Mitch Reeves finds himself in the Cup Series second since, Daytona, where he won. Ronald Klein sits third. He's about 6 points back from Mitch Reeves, so that puts him 7 back from Wes. Kevin Winter still in the shake. He is comfortable, but nonetheless not secured. I think the top 3 are secured. Kevin Winter with 1,058 points. Brandon Murray, 5th. He is 1,053 points. John Pansula, he is 6th. 1,042. Now we're starting to see the gaps. We got a tie for 7th. Jeff Gilmore, David Johnson, 1,037. Those are 7-8 essentially. So Jeff Gilmore on the bubble, David Toker Johnson on the bubble. Dustin Lee still in it. He's 7 points behind that coveted 8 spot. Judd Danielson a little bit behind. He's 8 points behind. Greg Richer a little bit out of it, as is Mark Jackson. That's our top 12 in points. But Bob, looking at it, I think, anywhere from 4 on backwards, depending how you finish here this evening, where your points end up.
I think, really looking at it, Jeff, Crazy Mike, John Panzula, 6th spot, all the way back to 12th. You have a 24-point spread. 4 of these guys will not be eligible for the championship. I think that is really going to be where guys are going to be able to maybe actually advance themselves, and some guys are going to leave Kansas rather disappointed tonight.
Yeah, we got that going on. Qualifying still going on. Bob mentioned that, track position is key here this evening, and it will be. Your one-car speed is definitely not your pack car speed for sure, but if you can squeak out a top spot to start the race, you may set yourself up. However, we have to be reminded that the big one is probably going to happen here tonight.
Absolutely, and just to get a sense of that speed, I ran a 29.9 drafting with Panic and just 2 cars out there, Jeff. Currently the pole is a 32.20, so that draft, huge amount of speed picks up when these guys are hooked up.
Yeah, and it does. Seeing Dustin Lee, Mitch Reeves, they're out there. I don't know, with these 1.5 mile bobs, maybe the admin crew has to look at more of a group qualifying deal if it's going to be a Daytona-esque style, because there's a lot of guys involved in this points battle. If they get stuck in the back and crashed early on, they could see a huge lead slip away.
Absolutely, and somebody, might be in trouble here tonight. Because when that big one happens, there's no fast repairs tonight, Jeff. Any damage is really going to, you change the shape of this car, it's not going to perform the way you need it to. One other observation I did have in running with Panic is there is a little aero push factor, too. If you're directly in that wake, if you will, of the car in front of you going through the corners, the front end is actually going to get a little bit tight on you.
Yeah, it definitely will. Looking over at the track temperature here tonight, it is 68 degrees, with the track being 68 degrees. A little bit cold up there in Kansas. 133 laps here tonight, 50% fuel, and like Bob said, no fast repair. A little bit, it'd be tricky. We saw a couple cars last night during our tape recording, Bob, with a little bit of damage to that right side. I don't think we're going to see that as much. If damage is done, it's going to be car-to-car contact rather than car-to-wall.
Absolutely, Jeff. I believe it's going to be car-to-car, and then probably the wall will play a role in it as well. Anyway, field is now gridding up on the pole. We have Dustin Lee with a great time, 32.20. It was outside. We have foot brake, Mitchell Reeves. Brian Tribble, the South Florida driver, rolls off third tonight. Judd Danielson rolls off fourth. Magic Shoes, Mark Jackson, home race for him too. He's a Kansas native. Rolls off fifth. Jared Daniels rolls off in sixth. I don't know much about him. Jake the Snake Anderson rolling off seventh. Jason Covington rolling off eighth. And then there's that Derek guy whose last name I'm not even going to try because I'm going to murder it again. Yeah, Glitchaki. There it is. Rolling off the ninth. We have Ronnie Klein rolling off 10th. Brian Bizzell in 11th. Mike Donahue rolling off 12th. Ken Richardson from Nova Scotia rolling off 13th. Poker David Johnson, our 14th place starter. Thomas Cristiano back after a disappointing night last night, rolling off 15th. Ray Richer, another New York driver, in 16th. Kevin Winter, 17th. John Panzula, we also call him Crazy Mike, rolling off 18th. Nick Zanter rolling off in 19th. T. Rowdy, Travis Browder, he was having internet connection issues, shown in 20th with no speed on his qualifying lap. Reckham West Holland shown in, which says 32nd. I don't know why he's in that spot. I'm on the results page. I'm not sure if he's even in the
no qualifying times, down from 19 on downward. So they're going to be in different positions. But the guys that didn't take a qualifying time, Nick Zontner, Travis Browder, Wes Holland, who I'm not seeing on the track, Vernon Markheim, Jeff Gilmore, Kyle Chadwick, Sean Dewar from Old Schools, Brandon Thornhill, I believe, is up in the tower admin booth here this evening. Kevin Fetty, Jason Hughes, Jay Smoke, home race for him too, Josh Scott, and Robert Panic Mattis, and Craig Covington. They're all mixed in there, but let's go back up front. And to our leader to start off this race will be the number 2 machine. I think it is one of his better qualifying times this season in the Cup car. He's going to have to prove it and stay out in front, but we're going to have a mix of drivers out front all evening.
Yes, and league owner actually giving some final instructions to these guys to put on a good race for the broadcast. We appreciate everything that John Hedrick does. Field now in the middle of 3 and 4, one pace lap. That iRacing Mustang will escape to the safety of pit road, and these guys were just about to get after it for 133 laps.
133 laps, Bob. Up, and it could be a fast one or a slow one. It's up to the drivers. Green flag will start this one. Happy Easter to all, indeed, as John Hendricks says it. Green flag out on the speedway here at Kansas. Here we go, 133 laps, and we got one heck of a race in front of us.
The entire pack still looking like we're actually at a pace lap. Jeff, 2x2x2x2x2x2. Dustin Lee working that bottom side. We're seeing that bottom actually work here early on in Kansas. We'll stretch that lead out over foot brake. Mitchell Reeves on the outside, getting a little bit of a bump draft down the back straightaway as they head off to turn 3.
Yep, 3 wide there in the back. You can't see the number of who it is. He's up against Thomas Cristiano. They're almost touching. They got to stay above that white line here. Loose Oak Racing. Dustin Lee gets the first lap led, followed up by Brian Trimble.
And Dustin Lee down on the bottom still, Jeff. I think that bottom's going to be king tonight. Mitchell Reeves still in tow and side by side, second all the way back to 6. Great battle up front here.
Yep, Mitch getting a bit of an arrow push there from Judd Danielson. We're seeing a lot of guys up here. Dustin Lee wants to go up to his teammate, but Brian Tribble's right there behind him, saying, if you do, I'm going to capture the spot. Mitch Reeves, the outside not working like a typical Kansas.
We got 2 guys around. Looks like 24 machine. Brian Bizzell taking another hit. Oh, that car is really tore up. Tough race for Brian Bizzell here early at Kansas.
Yeah, wow. 24 machine involved in that caution. Replay will be coming up on the MaxSpeedTV replay.
It looks like he gets up to Mark Donahue. I'm not sure if he came up, didn't know he was there, but turns that 24 machine hard into the outside safer barrier. And I'm going to guess that his night is over. Tough break for Brian Bizzell.
Yep. 70 and 24, to me, it looked like they met in the middle on that exchange, Bob. That's how I'm seeing it. Maybe the 24 came up, the 70 went down. Who knows? 24 got the worst of it. There was another car that tagged the 70, and David Toker Johnson, I believe, tagged the 24 the second time around.
And Fields is under caution for the first time tonight on lap 4. And fans of Nick Zonter, it looks like he's actually manually disconnected and packed it up and headed home. Tough break. Not sure if he had any damage from that wreck.
I believe it was
he's
Nick
on.
Zotner, the 70 machine, 01 there, and that Army car getting a piece of it. Gosh, Mr. Miko real good on those replays. A little bit of fake from Dustin Lee. Pit road. Mark Jackson going down.
Yeah, Mark Jackson, Jason Covington, and most of the field at that point on back, it looks like, is going to visit their pit crews and get some fresh Goodyear Eagles and some Sunoco racing fuel.
Yeah, most of the leaders staying out is, as we'll remind you once again, a Daytona S-Style running here tonight, and that's due to the iRacing / NASCAR Cup package provided. These mile-and-a-half tracks, as some of the drivers in NASCAR have put it, they just, want to keep them together for exciting racing, but that leads to these close contact moments, and, we can put a lot of that on the driver too, but at the same time, we're just going to have to see it because this is the style of racing provided.
Absolutely, Jeff. And just to go and to elaborate actually on this 2019 package, for those that haven't watched much of the NASCARs on the TV, a big 8-inch rear spoiler. I'm not sure if Michael D'Amico put a close-up of one of the cars, but huge blade on the back of this thing. Up front, they added a belly pan to the front underneath of this car to really help the front end suck down. And under the hood, there's a new intake. Big tapered intake, which really cut the power down on these things to about 550 horsepower. So those were the changes. Brian Bazell was issued an end-of-line penalty, and he's questioning that. I think it might be as a result from that incident. Not sure.
Yeah, I mean that's a call on the admins, and yeah, he was involved. But at the same time, I think both drivers met in the middle. Maybe a little net code as we're seeing out there on YouTube. And again, out there on YouTube, over 15 people watching live. Thank you for tuning in here on MaxSpeedTV for the Top Shelf Auto and Detailing Cup Series at Loose Lug Nuts Racing. It is going to, be a little bit of a long one here and maybe a bit of a short one. We saw cautions really shape the field last night as to where, how the drivers raced, but they were able to get away from one another eventually. However, that's not going to be the case tonight. It's going to be a little bit difficult.
This is, I think, this is totally different from what we saw the other two nights here at the Loose Lug Nuts Racing competition. Jeff, with this package, the racing is just so different. I was joking with the guys. This is probably easier to drive than the truck or the Xfinity car with all that extra downforce. It was almost ridiculous.
No, definitely can be ridiculous, and we're seeing that in real life too with these mile-and-a-half tracks, even Bristol at points.
And, easier to drive, Jeff, but at the same time, it's tightening the field up and everybody's a lot closer to each other, so the racing's actually harder at the same time, if that makes sense. The car is easier to drive, and everybody's on top of each other. Field is got the call, crossed him over, missed the starter, and doubling up behind the pace car. And just follow up on that penalty Brian Bazell was issued, although I think the big penalty was probably the damage that he incurred, but Race Control was of the belief that he was the contributing factor to that last incident with Mark Donahue. Up front, we have Dustin Lee, actually. We'll be bringing him down. Brian Tribble, that great driver from South Florida, on the outside pole, Jeff.
Yep, Brian Tribble up front has many woes this season, the 22 machine, but I like to see where he's at right now. If we get to green flag pitting, that's also going to take some time for these leaders to get adjusted to in the session. Kind of I expect a Dega really style of pitting where you're going to need a buddy. However, the pace car is about to drop off here. We're going to go back to green flag. First caution within a couple laps. Let's see what these guys can do again. Here we go. Dustin Lee has the chance to fire whenever he wants. He may not want to escape too far ahead of any draft out. There he goes. Green flag. We're going to watch him as they go down in turn one. He's got Mitch Reeves right on his back, and they're going to go single file down in turn one.
Definitely a much different look on this restart, Jeff. Maybe the guys have reeled in some of the aggression, if you will, but Mitchell Reeves now able to connect with his buddy Dustin Lee. I think they're teammates. I may be wrong, but first 4 cars were single file as they head off down to 3. Dustin Lee's now showing the way. Mitchell Reeves second. Brian Tribble now under fire from Judd Danielson, taking a peek to the inside. That's where the action's really hot and heavy back there from 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. 2 by 2 down into turn 1.
Yeah, Derek Luchaki trying to look outside of Brian Tribble. A little bit better of a run than the 22 does the 03. Oh, look at that. They got a split up front. 2 down at the bottom. Mitch Reeves to the top side. They got a little bit touchy.
Did you see how much those guys reeled in the top 2 as they come out of turn 2 down the back straightaway, Jeff? That was wild. They just, it was like reeling in a bluegill when you're fishing there with a bass rod. It was just unbelievable. They swoop right up on them. This field now heads back into there, almost like in a pace lap formation here, all side by side. These guys are digging and clawing, trying to find a way to the front.
Yep, there goes Derek Luchaki, 3 wide on the outside of the 22, and I believe that is Jared Daniels down the bottom, 3 wide out of turn 4. No one able to go down below the white line during this race. We're still 3 wide. Gosh, you can't do this many other places. Thank God for a long, wide. Oh, Jake Anderson, 031 there, slipping up.
Yeah, a little bit loose. Gathers it back up. In his mirror, we have him 3 wide. One car checks off and heads below the apron. Loses a bunch of spots. It looks like 18 machine. T. Rowdy back up front, though. Dustin Lee somehow bringing on to that lead. Judd Danielson is right there and challenging. Up on the high side, we have Mitchell Reeves with, I think that's Luchaki in tow. Making him work with that aggressive move on the high side. Watching him roll that high side, he's doing pretty good. We got a car in the wall down there, and turn number 1 and 2 brushes the outside wall. Everything's still green, and everybody keeps
Kevin
rolling.
Winter.
Yes,
yeah,
Winter.
Kevin Winter involved in that. 02 machine still pressing on the outside of his teammate, the 2 of Dustin Lee, who's maintained this lead. Now they're all sucking back up the top 6 to 7 cars right there. Back together once again. They'll spread out for a lap, and then they won't. They'll get Brian Tribble.
Whoa,
he's going around.
He's sideways, collects Jason Covington, and the few others get collected. A couple of bangs off the wall. Not huge damage, but enough to make a difference. Caution flies here at lap 13.
Yeah, I saw that one coming, Bob, and you know, it really started with Brian Tribble. It looked like he shortened his corner, or he just got loose to where he was. 031 probably didn't have too much time to check up.
Absolutely. It looks like he just got a good run, and looks like just Brian just checked up, and it wasn't enough time to get on the binders and get it loaded up. Tough break, though. Ray Richer also involved in that. The 049, Ken Richardson, he had, looks like a rush at the wall in that incident as well. And fans of Wreckham West Holland, good news. The driver has connected to the server. We might see that 4 machine on track, but he's going to be multiple laps down at this juncture.
Yeah, we have a few cars already off the speedway, and that would be Nick Zontner, and I believe Brian Bazell. He's got a ton of damage. John Pansula 1 lap down. He's looking probably for a wave around this time.
Yes, Nick Zonter has retired. Brian Bazell 8 laps down. He's still in the server, so we may see him back out after his damage is repaired on that 24 machine.
Yep, gonna cover the 02. The pit here, he'll have the number 2 box right in front of his buddy Dustin Lee. We'll see what the 02 does. I don't think anything but 4 tires is the call. Yep, left side's up on both those machines. The 02 getting out. Wow, he had a great pit.
We have definitely some 2-tire stops behind these guys. A lot of guys pulling out just as the leaders did. They came in way behind them. Quick follow-up, Jake Anderson was penalized as a result of that last incident as well. The admin's definitely calling a tight game with that referee duty in the tower here tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes to make the calls, and it's definitely needed when you got big group of guys, you gotta access EOL penalties, and like I always said, EOL penalties are the greatest thing you can do without, really curbing a driver's race or race results. So they hand them out where they see fit, even if the announcers disagree with what happens.
Exactly, but we speak freely, and they let us do that. EOL, of course, means end of line. That means they go to the back of the pack. With those pit stops now completed, I'm showing Mitchell Reeves in the lead, Dustin Lee, Judd Daniels, and Ronnie Klein now up to fourth. Definitely 2 tires on that. Derek Glotchke. Gluchaki, him too, yeah. In fifth. Glue and chalk, as D'Amico said down there in the MaxSpeedTV production truck. I got to put a sticky note up, but I got my VR on, so I won't be able to see it. We do have one car that did not make a visit down to pit road up there in the front, as they are trying to get a wave around.
Yeah, that'd be the Ford machine of Wes Holland. Getting a little bit late here to the sim. Probably had a late Easter dinner with family members. At least got signed in. Oh, wow. 22 of Brian Treble. They're going to say he didn't get out in time. He's going to end up a lap down. He had to serve some extra time on pit road to get that thing repaired.
Tough break for that South Florida driver, and we'll see how bad his car is and what he can do the rest of the night to overcome that challenge.
Yeah. A lot of people out here on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in here this evening to MaxSpeedTV. It is a different race here this evening. Loose Lug Nuts Racing Top Shelf Auto Detailing Cup Series. I know everyone's out here looking at this new aero package, seeing how the cars do at Kansas, as we're going to double up for another green flag run. We're getting better at the green flag runs as we go, but we are also losing drivers during those cautions. About 30 cars driving tonight, another 26 still on the lead lap. But like I'm saying, thank you for tuning in. Very much appreciate it. Happy Easter to everyone. We're about to go back green for the third time. New leader out in front will be Mitch Reeves after a great pit stop.
Yeah, huge thank you to those fans. And, of course, please like, share, and subscribe while we have just a moment before that pace car gets out of the way and we get back after it here. Field will begin lap 18 of 133 pit stop at this point, where they're going to be 23 laps out before a scheduled pit stop should a caution not occur.
Yep, here we go yet again. Getting better, like I said. Pace car going to be diving down momentarily. 2 teammates side by side. Ronnie Klein up in the mix there. Judd Daniels, Derek Luchaki, Sean Dewar up there too. Good to see him back racing. Here we go. Green flag out. Mitch Reeves, Dustin Lee with a good jump. Mitch Reeves leaving his push behind. Very, very far behind. He's going to have to scoot up to the high side.
And Dustin Lee will be right there to get his back as he dives out of the bottom in turn 2 and drafts with that 2 machines. 2 and the 0-2 working together here. In their mirror, though, we have Judd Danielson. Look at that huge pull-up he had on the back straightaway. Really blown away how much those guys sucked up. Now Judd Danielson now working down the inside, trying to grab that second spot away. Oh, no, is that Ronald Klein? How's he in the red car? He's messing me up.
Yeah, Ronald Klein, that black and red 76. 022 still there. That would be Mitch Reeves, Dustin Lee. Derek Luchaki really preferring the outside in that 03 MaxSpeedTV machine. Judd Danielson, always a great driver. He's now battling for the top. Looking now to push Mitch Reeves to a clear lead and then make maneuvers on him.
And just really looking at this and all the different cams, this really looks like Daytona, Jeff. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is very crazy. Trying to see what's going on there in the chat of the iRacing server. Probably got a blinker on the track somewhere. We'll see who gets that fitted out. Derek Luchaki way far back. We're seeing a strong inside line, Bob, at the moment. Oh! Dustin Lee got touched by the 03.
Yeah, getting a little squirrely there, and an anxious moment for all those competitors. Not only the guys involved, but those guys directly behind them. But they'll straight away, and keep on motoring on. Mitchell Reeves shows the way, but Jed Danielson right there. We'll watch him actually reel them in as they work their way down the back straightaway. Most of the cars are really working that inside line like we haven't seen in Trucks and Xfinity Series. Using that huge arrow suck down to the track, gaining all that grip. Field now working lap 22.
Yeah, Mark Jackson, Dustin Lee getting a little tight there. 03 looking maybe another 3 wide. T. Rowdy up in front of this mess here, as is Jared Daniels. Mark Jackson, wow, look at that Derek Luchocki take that outside run and get in front of Dustin Lee. Dustin Lee has lost something off his car.
Yeah, Luchocki definitely rolling that high side. I wonder if Dustin Lee did 2 tires and he's just not agreeable to his machine right now. We'll actually hop down there and take a look real close, see if there was damage that may have occurred that we missed. Jeff, while you watch the front of this pack.
Yep. 85, Judd Danielson out to the lead now. Mitch Reeves on the outside with T. Rowdy. Jared Daniels, 257, now in the mix on the bottom. This is a new leader for the first or second time of this race. Jared Daniels got to keep it above the white line. He didn't make no pass, so all safe there. T. Rowdy hooked up with 02. Let's see how they get down to that corner. It definitely lays off the bumper. Good call from 18 onto the 02. Derek Luchocki looking to make it probably 3 wide if he can afford it. Nope, he has to back down. 18 does too. 85 and 02 out front. Luchocki 3 wide.
Luchocki rolling that high side, doing a great job. 3 wide, trying to get a little draft in that 02 machine. He gets that draft and powers out of turn 4, starting to reel him up and get close up there. A quick close look at Dustin Lee's car. In addition to being a damn cool paint job, I didn't see any damage on it. So I think he's just trying to bide his time and balance the seesaw of aggression and patience the right way.
3 wide back in the pack. 10, 78, 76. They're a little bit...
Whoa, contact! Kevin Winter! Whoa! Oh, Kevin Winter! We have one on its side! Ruin on a turn 4. Caution!
Ronald Klein.
Caution is not out, folks. Caution is not out. We are still clean and green. Those cars able to keep moving and roll out of that. But wow, I'm not sure if we got a replay on that, but that was pretty wild. Action still wild up front as well.
Yep. Possible replay coming up here. To me, it looked like 76 was in it, Mr. D'Amico. We see that there. It started really with the 10 and 78. 78 got a little bit loose, touched the 10, shot up the track, and hit the 76 into the wall. And what we saw was Ronald Klein paying a very high price for that.
Ronald. Definitely watching it on my screen again, Jeff. He paid the biggest price of it all. Kevin Winter making a little contact there with Jason Covington. Unhooked the front end of his car, sent him up the track, and collecting poor Ronnie Klein in that incident. Back up front.
Yep, back up front. Again, new leaders. We watched that action go through. Judd Danielson not in the lead. Now is Jared Daniels, newcomer here to the league. I believe this is like his 2nd or 3rd race. Judd Danielson left out in the cold there, though, on the inside. 057 in the lead. Good to see it. Mitch Reeves now battling through. For those 2 drivers involved in that previous crash, as we still view the front. Both of them 3rd and 4th. Kevin Winter in points potential, as is Ronald Klein. Kevin Winter having enough damage on his car to take it to the hauler.
Yeah, tough break. Kevin Winter, good guy. I had a lot of fun racing with him. Jared Daniels definitely introducing himself to Loose Lug Nuts Racing by taking the lead up here. Mitchell Reeves looking to use that draft to power back by him in the middle, though. We have a really tight battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 3rd place, Luchocki. Got it right that time, folks. Luchocki in 3rd, Danielson and T. Rowdy side by side out of turn 2.
Wow, it is getting dicey up here. I think Mitch Reeves has been watching Luchocki in the mirror and does not want to give up the high side. The middle to high side Luchocki seems to be, Mitch Reeves down to the bottom. Jared Daniels went for the block. He's going to be strung out. Mitch Reeves is going to gather up first and bring Luchocki with him. Luchocki staying down to the inside. Not going to give up that spot either, but he's going to hang out in the aero draft.
Yes, great move by Mitchell Reeves, ducking that block and making another pass for the lead. I'm not sure how many lead changes we've had at this point. Starting to see the cars actually migrate up a little bit on the track, too, from the bottom line, Jeff. Was it lap 18, I think, was the last time we were on pit road?
Yes, sir. We got to be coming up here in the next 10 laps to a possible green flag pit stop. We're never correct on that number anyways, but we'll give it a try every time. Mitch Reeves out in front. Jared Daniels sufficing the lead to him. Now going back up under him. This is what you talked about when you're one-on-one with another. You can just dive it low and get the good run. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to complete it unless he has a little bit of aero help. T. Rowdy down there to help Jared Daniels.
T. Rowdy now just back up behind Mitchell Reeves. Looking for a place to run. Jared Daniels using that clean air to help that car stick as best it can down to the speedway, but does not have the momentum that the high side had at a turn 2 that time. Definitely the age of these tires are making the show look a little bit different at this part of the race, Jeff.
Yep, and this is what we have potentially seen for our long run here this evening. This is our longest run since the initial green flag. Blue Chalky hard on the bumper, the 8 in there. Really wants that line, really bumping the 18. Dustin Lee.
And car around. Ray Richard. Got to get the number on the other vehicle. 44 involved in that.
Yeah. Thomas Cristiano, I believe, involved in that. We'll see what happens.
Cristiano. Looked like the cars just had accidental contact. One guy moving up. Oh, Thomas Cristiano gets the wall and just loses control of the machine right in front of Ray Richard. Ray Richard just a victim. Gets some heavy front end damage in that incident as well.
Yeah, Ray Richard, he was definitely clean free for that until the second hit. I'm sure we're in a replay mode right now. He's caught back the field. Thomas Cristiano definitely the fault on that one. No intentional fault, but he lost the control against the wall and probably yanked it off too hard and overcorrected back.
And a little banter between our production truck and Jeff Wood. Field will be making their way down. I expect wholesale pit stops. Got somebody staying up. Not sure what they're doing. We were roughly 5 to 7 laps out on that pit window, so this was a good opportunity for these guys to get down there.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to keep our eye on the leader, Mitch Reeves. He's good into the box from what we've seen. Dustin Lee scoots up in front of him. Maybe someone takes 2 tires, Bob.
Yeah, it could be an interesting strategy. Although, with that longer run, Jeff, I think they're going to want all 4 of them. But,
I don't know. Here comes T. Rowdy.
We got a couple of guys. T. Rowdy way early. Big battle, 3 wide as they exit pit road there. I got to be careful, though. They can't go above that white line, otherwise they will incur an unsafe pit exit. But T. Rowdy looked like he had a great pit stop there.
That he did. However, we are going to go ahead and get our first interview here this evening. We're going to bring up our current leader, Mitchell Reeves, and give him a quick talking to. See what he has to say about the race so far. Mitch Reeves.
What's going on?
How's it going, leader, at the moment at least? You've been up front here for most of the evening, started second, seen your fair share out front. We've noticed how the cars in the long run there, and maybe you can say something different than what we're thinking, really started to move up the track.
Yeah, these tires really are giving out about 12 laps in or so. I mean, this is basically a super speedway race. There's a lot of people that's running really hard. I feel like it's why we've seen some early crashes here so far. But on that run right there, that was really the first full run we had. We had about 8 laps of gas left coming to the caution there, but. The outside really started coming in there once the inside and the tires wore off, and at the start of the run, the inside's the place to be, but you really got to make a self-conscious decision to decide when you want to keep running and when you want to start saving tires in that middle and outside groove. And I think that's kind of what happened to Jared there on the inside. He started really burning him up there a little early after cutting me off about 15 times and finally got around him. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the old Daytona cutoff. You got a little bit of that coming back and forth. Mitch,
man, I'm laughing.
Yeah. How do you think this race is going to shape? You really expecting some more big ones in Daytona wrecks, or do you think you can get a little bit of a groove going with a good 6th group of drivers?
Well, if it really depends. If we keep having cautions, cautions breed cautions, and it gets everybody, riled back up to make positions. So I don't think we're done wrecking just yet. But if we got a green flag run going, I'd be interested to see how it would play out. But it's exciting racing, I'm sure, outside the car as well as it is inside.
And Mitch, real quick, I got to ask you, what's the limit on how many times somebody can cut you off?
I don't know. Jared about reached it.
All right. All right. Field has been given that crossover single. We'll get him back down to his team.
Yep, there he goes. We're doubled up.
I had to ask him that. That was funny.
He's just frustrated. Sometimes you don't like that, little bit of a cutting off. But like I said, that's Daytona. I've cursed out many drivers, that pulled it up right there in front of you at the last second. It just gets your heart throbbing because you're like, next time I'm just going to put the bumper to him. But you really don't want to.
Absolutely. And actually, Jeff, my first Daytona win I ever got was racing with you. Made the old gas monkey garage Chevy Silverado about as wide as the speedway down there at Daytona, blocking you for that win. So we got our history as far as that goes, too.
Yep, and they're making history out here for sure. There's a lot of viewers out here, and I think they're all tuning in to see how Kansas runs with this package. A lot of people interested, and thank you for coming out. Pace car down. Mitch Reeves going to give the signal to fire before the flagman, maybe. No, he's holding on to it, checking up way far. Those guys didn't anticipate it. They're going to shake out here. You got to wait to cross the line to pass here at Loose Lug Nuts. Jared Daniels trying to get down to that inside.
Yeah, big accordion effect there as the field kind of checked up. We had some comers and goers as a result. Mitchell Reeves now has it stretched out just a little bit. Does have Jared Daniels right in his wake.
Yep, Jared Daniels making Gluchaki scoot up, lose a lot of the draft. 18 of T. Rowdy now below the 03 MaxSpeedTV car. Judd Danielson trying to give help to the 03. It is a bunch of arrow pushing and bumper pushing going on early on.
Yeah, these guys are still rather aggressive, actually. Wonder if Gluchaki is trying to run that upper line and save a little bit for later on in this run. Should be go for a while green. We'll have to keep an eye on and see what he does.
And Gluchaki, for the most part, has been glued to that outside, especially with these early tires, but it's not really paying dividends as the stronger line is definitely the bottom line with the amount of cars. They're shuffling and going back like it's Daytona. We won't say that enough tonight. T. Rowdy now jumping to the outside, Gluchaki to the 3 high.
Yes, and looks like we're going to have a 3-wide battle at a turn, too. Gluchaki and T. Rowdy. Looks like Judd Danielson sticking his nose in that mix. 3 wide down into turn 3. This battle continues.
Yep. Gluchaki falling back along with Dustin Lee. Here comes the 14 now, mixing it up. He's going to be down on the inside below 03 and the 2 there. We'll see how those battles turn out. Still, though, the battle's right there around for third at the moment. That is 62er Sean Dewar and T. Rowdy.
Pretty exciting show these guys are putting on. Mitchell Reeves fairly well in control at this point. At any second, though, it seems like that's going to change. Watching Gluchaki still up in that high line, Jeff. I'm going to believe that he's hoping that this does go for a long green run, and he's saving a little bit for later on. Does have a little help with Dustin Lee now as far as the draft factor.
Yep. He's still falling back just a tench, able to really scoot up. He's not really losing much. On Dewar now to the inside of 18-3. Mark Jackson trying to come with him. It's good to see Mark Jackson up towards the front again. I know he started there. He's started in 5th, back to 5th. A little bit of struggles early on, involved in the first caution, I think. Having to dodge it. Going back.
Jared Daniels with a good run at it, turned that for that time. Jeff, I thought he was going to make another challenge on Mitchell Reeves there. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I thought you were about to call caution that I didn't see yet again. Bob's been eagle-eyeing here this evening. Judd Danielson now rolling up on the back of the 18 of Travis Browder. We're starting to see a single file effect out front. We'll see that certain drivers lose the tires and not be able to compensate off of it. We haven't seen it yet. These guys are really battling it out here. A lot of new names up front. Sean Doerr, we haven't seen him up front too much since Daytona Atlanta time frame, way back early in the season. Good to see him out front racing hard. Judd Danielson now below. We're going to make this a two-lane race. Judd Danielson all the way up, almost to first.
What a power move by Danielson, the 85 machine. Now to turn 4. Last lap by, whoa, T. Rowdy, huge drop-off. Not sure what's going on there. T. Rowdy, it's almost like he went down a cylinder. Of course, that's not possible when you hit the wall really high. But T. Rowdy dropped a bunch of positions. Judd Danielson now side by side with Mitchell Reeves. Mitchell Reeves does have his buddy that was cutting him off there, Jared Daniels, in tow. Big battle, though, for this front spot.
Yep. Danielson probably going to win it out on the bottom unless something happens. Here goes Gluchaki. No, he just stuck his nose out for some fresh air. Probably had the red light show up on the tack. We'll have to see if we go down into the car one time. In fact, you know what? Why don't we go down into the car of Jared Daniels, who's all over the back bumper of the 02. Let's go inside the 057, see what he's dealing with.
That's a great point, Jeff, that we actually have not touched on. I wonder if these machines will get hot if you're tucked up into a tight draft like Jared is with Mitchell Reeves right now for a very long time. At Daytona Talladega, if you start push drafting 3, 4, maybe 5 laps tops, you start getting lights and gauges flashing red, indicating that things aren't going the way they need to, and that underneath the hood of those machines.
Yeah, I'm down inside the 057 of Jared Daniels right now, Bob, and he's right on the bumper of the 02. He's actually looks like he's pretty calm here, unless he's going to do something a little bit spectacular. I'm not sure, but it is real Daytona down in this car at Kansas Speedway. We are clicking off laps here again, coming up to lap 50 next time around. It's actually kind of exciting down here, Bob.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, and Gluchaki was trying to make it exciting that last time by through 1 and 2, making a power move down to the inside, but just was not able to roll that momentum off of turn 2 to make a move around Jared Daniels.
Yeah, back outside of the car, like you were saying, looking at that 03, he's back down at the bottom. Jared Daniels wants to go with whoever he thinks is fastest. Mitch Reeves really clogging that outside line. I see the 58
Whoa,
of Jason.
slide job. That Gluchaki just slides right up in front. About to scrape the paint off of Dustin Lee's machine there. That was close.
Yeah, yes, it was. But like I was saying, I'm seeing a Kansas native, along with Mark Jackson, obviously, slip up on here. The 58 now right behind Dustin Lee, involving himself in the battle for the front. Single file on the outside line. These drivers are really, really moving up to the high side, Bob.
Yeah, Jason Hughes with a great drive tonight, up from 27th gridding position, up near that top 5. Oh, we got cars going all over hell down there.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that was wild. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. It was almost like somebody's wheel broke, or there was some kind of a hardware issue or something with 1 or 2 of the competitors. That didn't really this look wow, really odd.
Oh, wow. 057, made some contact with the 03, Derek Gluchaki. That's going to end Gluchaki's night, along with the 057. Not sure how many other cars were involved. I think the 77, Vern Markheim, also involved in that. Maybe it was Jason Covington. I really didn't get the picture there.
Yeah, we had Vern tied up in that, and one other car I'm trying to get the number of as well. Tough break, though.
Yeah, it started up front. First time we've seen a crash up front here this evening, involving the leaders. Guys have been running around each other back and forth. Just a move that happened there. Gluchaki keeping his outside position. Jared Daniels probably tried to come up to cross it, came back, and then just back across the 03's nose again.
And, while we were covering that, Jeff, I just noticed the caution did not fly. I believe it was Jake Anderson that was also involved. Vernon Merheim
Wow.
and Thomas Cristiano both have disconnected. I'm listening to the race chat real quick. And,
Color me confused as why there wasn't a caution. We had cars sideways, slow. That's where we are. Unfortunately, a lot of cars involved in that wreck. We're now down to 16 cars on the lead lap. iRacing itself does not usually signal a yellow flag below the white line, unfortunately. And, sometimes it's really weird. A couple weeks ago, we just thought at Martinsville that the guy in the flag stand took a break.
Yes, that was weird. That incident definitely should have had a caution. Almost would have liked to have seen the admin actually manually throw one in that occurrence. Blue Chalky definitely venting some frustrations over the race chat, Jeff. Not happy with what occurred there, and got him caught up, and had a good run going, and definitely understand frustration.
Oh yeah, definite frustration. He had a good chance, as anyone did, running in that mess there of cars, of possibly taking a win home this evening, as did Jared Daniels. Two competitors just getting together. Gluchaki made his moves early on, and Jared Daniels tried to make a move that just wasn't successful, unfortunately, and it involved a few guys. But we're still under that green flag, weirdly enough. 0-2 of Mitch Reeves out front, Dustin Lee following him up with Jason Covington. It is single file. I imagine that will that really chop down the top 5 or 6 cars from the rest of their competitors.
Yeah, we have a 6-car, essentially a breakaway, and these guys, as soon as I'm about to say these guys are starting to calm down and just kind of click off some laps here, they get side by side in the back of this. Looks like Panic Menace tried to make a move down to the inside, and actually will lose the position in that exchange to Judd Danielson. Mitchell Reeves, and we'll do a quick rundown of these top 6. Mitchell Reeves is leading. Dustin Lee is in second. Jason Covington now third. Jason Hughes, Kansas, very important place. Always one he has circled on his calendar. In fourth, Judd Danielson and Panic, Robert Manis. That's your top 6 in this 6-car breakaway up front.
Yep, and they're going to remain there unless something else happens on the track. Behind them, there's 2-car packs and whatnot. We could go through the field, but I'd rather see what these guys up front here potentially have to do. Maybe not. They're just rolling what they got. Mitch Reeves protecting his line. They're actually coming up on a singled out car, potentially putting that person a lap down further.
Yeah, they sure are, and that car running by itself with no aero help, definitely they should rocket around him rather quickly.
Yep. 0-1 of John Pansula down pit road.
Yeah, pit stops. Leaders coming this time. Oh, I wonder. I hope he didn't get that commitment cone.
I thought Mitch was speeding.
I'm not sure where that commitment cone is or was, but he may have actually had a trouble right there at that entrance.
Yeah, we'll view these leaders going down road. A lot of them making that choice. Usually the sound of iRacing dude comes over and says the leader's pitting, makes you want to pit anyways.
And this time by Jason Covington and Panic are also making their stops.
Yep, Dustin Lee not getting into the box correctly. He had to scoot up. He's going to have some extra times. Mitch Reeves out and away. You really need someone with you. Judd Danielson's going to be the closest one to him, or whoever he picks back up on the track.
And we'll make note of that. So lap 62, this cycle of pit stops has commenced here at Kansas.
Yep, green flag stops underway. Sean Dewar leading. He's next to come down. Jeff Gilmore coming down with him. Jason Covington, he was in the mix with those guys running in the top. He decided to stay out an extra lap or so. He's just now getting off of pit road. Mark Jackson on pit road, sliding out, getting going. We're going to have a different running order here coming up, probably, with less drivers packed around than what we've seen here this evening.
Yes, and just taking a look at the running order, waiting for it actually to update I'm watching Mitchell Reeves now, who I believe will cycle out as the leader, based off of what I'm seeing here. Mitchell now working lap 63 here in Kansas.
Yep, Dustin Lee right behind Judd Danielson. Mitch got a problem coming towards him really soon because there is about a 3 to 4 car pack that got out at the same time, and Mitch is not a part of that.
No, he is kind of like solo, and I'm sure his lap times will be a bit down from what those guys are running. Looking at the line this time by, he ran a 34.33. I'm not sure if we can get a lap time on that pack cars. Is it Judd Danielson? Is he in that pack? He sure
Yeah,
is.
Judd
He's
Danielson in the pack. He's leading it.
Actually, he ran a 34.61. I'm surprised. I expected that to be a little quicker, but a 34.61 last time. So he's not getting swallowed up yet. But I'm sure these guys are going to reel him in with that draft effect.
Yep. First up, the chopping block is the number 2 guy, the 10 car of Jason Covington. He's going to have to either, fend him off or tuck in where he can. Really rolling that bottom with these new tires. Other guys choosing to stay tucked in at the top behind one another. Jason Covington going to have the pressure on him momentarily.
Absolutely. Looking back at it, Mitchell again running in the 30-point to mid-4s, 32.99 that time by, but last time by, Judd Danielson leading that pack was a low 30.1. So those guys are definitely coming about a 10th a lap.
Yeah, still trying to see where Jason Covington will. They come up and collect him in the draft. That's nice of those guys. Not letting a potential competitor go too far back. They're going to get doubled up here. This is where the real speed comes from when you're running doubled up and door to door.
Yeah, kind of surprised these guys are actually getting this racy. I think they would actually be quicker if they all ran just single file, but we got a little challenge for position here. Looks like Robert Mattis up here trying to challenge Judd Danielson a little bit.
Now that's Jay Smoke there, front of
Panic. Jason Smoke, all right.
Yeah, Judd Danielson holding high up there on the top side. Dustin Lee, Jason Covington got picked up in that exchange. They're just swapping a little bit of spots here, and it looks like the 58 leaves his buddy down there on the bottom to fend.
Yes, of course, Jason Smoke and Robert Mattis, both Bad Apple racing competitors, kind of a little team. Group of buddies, three wide now. Judd Danielson getting kind of selfish, sticking that thing right in the middle, trying to make a big move and be the leader of the pack once more.
Yeah, Mitch, we're going to take a quick look where Mitch is. He's about 3 seconds ahead, still running solo. He ain't got no care in the world. These guys are coming, though. Still potential 3 wide, passing Ronald Klein there, 76 on the bottom. He's a few laps back. 14 really got a good run down there solo, just using some door draft.
Yeah, it's using that side draft effect, which can be effective. You get too aggressive with it, Jeff, though. Contact can be made, and bad things can happen. Derek Luchaki has retired from tonight's event for his fans that are watching out there in YouTubeville.
Yep. 03 had a good run involved in that last incident that miraculously didn't have a caution flag with it. We got to see some green flag pit stops because of that. I'm sure everyone would have came in if the yellow flew, but real spread out feature here. Mitch not really losing time off these guys as they battle out. You may be right, Bob. They need to single up and then go after Mitch.
Mitch actually gaining time on that last lap. It was 3-3 and change. 3-4-71 was the interval back to Judd Danielson that time by.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay here. I'm watching where Mr. D'Amico pointed his camera off the back of the O2 machine, and you could barely see his competitors back there. But the real group of racing right here is, second place on back. I believe it's to about 6th spot where Robert Mattis is. Dustin Lee now challenging for that second spot. These are all podium spots still, and points battles going on too. At least for Judd Danielson, he's got to be happy running where he is.
Yeah, we've covered it, Jeff. He's had some tough nights, and he's got to be pretty happy to be up there in the top half of the top 10.
Yeah, most definitely. Battle still going on backwards. Let's see if we can't find... I think there's another big pack brewing here. Let's look where the 3 machine of Mark Jackson is. He's in the battle with Sean Dewar and David Toker Johnson.
Yeah, we got a nice little grouping here. Mark Jackson, Sean Dewar, Cooter, Craig Covington, also right there. Kevin Fetty, T. Rowdy. Not sure what happened to him tonight. Kind of surprised to see T. Rowdy way back here.
Yeah, really a shake-up with where that incident happened up front. Really cut our field in half, and then further to cut the field down was the green flag pit stop, as many different guys had many different things going on in their head of what they wanted to do.
And we have 2 good little mini packs of racing though here. Watching the action back here just for a few moments. David Johnson in that 15 machine. Got a pretty good little battle here out of turn 4.
Yeah, out of turn 4 on the front stretch. Sean Dewar took the spot, the 15 of David Johnson. Sean Dewar looking to capitalize with a good top 10 run. He didn't qualify, but started 24th up to 8th. Now, we've seen him running in that top positions when the battle was going on. I would say about 25 laps ago, around lap 50 when it was really heated up. Let's see how our competitors are doing in that battle for second position.
Machine back up at the A5 machine. Judd Danielson. They've lined up, Jeff. That interval has grown though to 4 seconds. I wonder if they started looking at their relative and decided to line up and try to run down Mitchell Reeves. Mitchell Reeves in a very comfortable position, working lap 77 this time.
Man, I thought he was going to get ran down pretty well, but a single car, I guess if you break away, you break away for good at this and run the same speed. These guys are really actually putting on a show back here for second. Jay Smoke now up to third spot. Moves up in front of Jason Covington. A lot of these guys not involved in points. They're all running for those podium spots here at Kansas. I know at least Jay Smoke is. He's got a buddy back there, Robert Panic Madison. Dustin Lee now shuffling to the back of this pack in 6th spot.
That interval's still right there too. They were kind of lined up and they gained a little bit, but still it's 3:9.95 back from Mitchell Reeves. Looks like our next pit cycle has begun. Ryan Tribble will be pitting this time by. I'm projecting around lap 82 or so. We're going to expect a lot of these cars start to visit pit road.
Yeah, Brian Tribble, a few laps down, he's visiting pit road now. We'll probably see a few of the lead lap cars go in eventually. Wow, I thought Jay Smoke bounced it off the wall almost there. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But going on YouTube, yes, we started this evening with a 1-point split from first to second. Mitch Reeves was 1 point behind Wes Holland. Wes Holland actually didn't start the race until we were about 12 laps in. He's made up a little bit of time since then. Well, not really. He was probably further back, but he's 12 laps down, currently running the 21st position. I would hope he would want to go further in front. His next competitor is 9 laps down, so that's 3 laps in front of Wes is Ray Richard, who's still on track. 20-point loss here for Wes would put him in real bad spot, about middle running in points, and he would really have to worry about transferring to next week.
Yeah, he's going to be close with this tonight's finish, Jeff, but I think he will. Hopefully he'll be able to transfer on. Wes, definitely a fierce competitor here in Loose Lug Nuts action. That second pack, still single file, but still dropping back from Mitchell Reeves. I don't know what kind of magic he's working up there in that 0-2 machine, but Foot Brake is on his game tonight. 4.4 second lead over the field. we are now working lap 82, so it's going to be any moment we're going to see things really pick up business-wise down there on pit road.
Yep, going to be picking up. Maybe some of these guys back here in the draft, comparatively to maybe Mitch Reeves, saving fuel, being tucked up behind one another, maybe getting a little bit of a lifting action if you're going into the corner. If it's Daytona-esque at least, you would expect a little bit of lift when you suck up to someone, maybe saving some fuel.
All right, so yeah, working the race backwards. We've alluded to a 23-lap window, so Jeff, I'm not going to do the Common Core thing, but 133, back 23 would be 110. Back 23 laps from that, we got cars coming down pit road, don't matter now, but they would have to make it to like 110, I think, to have a viable shot to actually do this with one less pit stop.
Yep, 85 and 58 down pit road. Oh, I think the 14 stayed out. That's weird. He let Jay Smoke go, his teammate, down pit road with a different competitor. Not too much maybe conversation going on. Jake Anderson packing it up for the evening in that 031 machine. He was middle pack running early on that I saw. 14 now going down. 85, we're sticking with him as we view the rest of them. You'll hear us talking about the guys as they go through the pits, but Judd Danielson down. I'm sure Mitch Reeves has already been down pit road.
Yes, actually, watching that 02 machine working his way out of turn 2, Jeff Wood. We haven't seen anybody clip that grass. There's a weird kind of exit here with some road course pieces, so I was actually expecting somebody to do it tonight. Mitch Reeves now off pit road after routine service on that 02 machine.
Yep, looks like he's in a different pack all of himself. Jackson giving way. Mitch Reeves actually, I believe, went a technical lap down to the leaders when we started the cycle. The mirror is still on the 85 machine as he rolls around. He's got help now with Jason Hughes, Jay Smoke in that 58 machine. 44, Ray Richer now going to be in that battle, and we've once again chopped our battles in half.
Yes, and waiting for iRacing to catch up with all the pit stops. And pit stops are still actually going on. Lap 85 for some of these later competitors. Looks like Happy Gilmore is one of the later ones to come down the pit road. Waiting for this. Gets a little confusing during the middle of the cycle to kind of figure out who all's who. But I'm projecting that Mitchell Reeves will definitely be our leader when it all cycles out.
I don't know, maybe some of these guys just wanted to separate and do what Mitch did last green flag run and get soloed out. We're still seeing a lot of cars stick with one another. And if you look back to see where that 02 machine is, we're going to be filtered out after this lap. Not really seeing him up at the front. You got a spot on him? Oh, there he is. He's
working his way out of turn 2. These guys not pitting until lap 86. I'm thinking... Jeff, they might be in the window where they can do this with one less stop than the other guys that were down there a bit earlier. We might have a fuel mileage race brewing here in the background.
Yeah, Donald King out there in YouTube, definitely agree. One more stop is possible. We're going to lap 133 here this evening. You're going to have to do a little bit of saving. Mitch Reeves now going around John Pansula, that 01 Army machine. Taking his pit stop. He's going to be a lap down or more. 15 cars signaled on the lead lap. I think we'll round out to 14 after this lap.
Yeah, we should. It should reset and make a whole lot more sense this time by. Mitchell Reeves, though, is leading here on lap 89. And I'm showing Robert Mattis in second. Not sure if that's accurate, but if
that is accurate. Sorry, Panic, but
Panic definitely working some magic on that pit stop, Jeff. Undoubtedly on 2 tires instead of changing 4.
He's not too far in front of the pack that's behind him. We'll get into that mess here in a second. It looks like they're gaining time on Panic. Maybe, maybe not. I said that before. Judd Danielson, Jason Smoke, Hughes, Dustin Lee and I believe Jason Covington have once again found one another, grouped up. They are 2 by 2, battling still for the 3rd position now.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see these guys running this close together after this long of a green flag run and everybody kind of getting broken up. And here these boys are still back at it, still real close to each other. The guy that has really just checked out on the field, though, is Mitchell Reeves with a 5.420 lead over the 2nd place that last time by, Jeff.
Yep. Lap car coming up. Panic losing some time there in that 14. He's getting back towards the 58, the 85. He's going to find his competitors really quick and it'll be a 2nd place battle yet again. They're dicing through from the 01 to the 049. Ken Richardson involved in that early 1st or 2nd caution. Unfortunately, he's a tough competitor, still out there running his laps.
Yeah, trying to salvage everything he can points-wise here tonight. Pretty good guy. We had actually a chance to talk to him there, Pocono, driver from Nova Scotia, that is.
Yep. Again, out here at Kansas here for 133 laps tonight, and the Loose Lug Nuts Racing Series Top Shelf Auto and Detailing Cup cars running around, making a good show here where we can find them. At least the battle from 2nd backward as Panic is now moving on back behind Jay Smoke and Judd Danielson. It has been exciting race, a little bit more exciting in the beginning when they were all grouped up and battling, and even with the cautions though that were there, those guys were making some moves and dicing. It was fun. Not saying it's not now. It's just a little bit more calmer from the guys that are left.
Yeah, it's definitely tamed up with everybody being separated out a little bit here. Still a little bit of action back here in the pack. John Danielson and Panic side by side at a turn 2. And for the fans of Brian Tribble, the Connecticut native that now resides down in South Florida, has packed it up for the night and headed home to Miami.
Mitch Reeves still enjoying that 5.6 second lead over the rest of the guys out here. Surprised to see him, but he hasn't really had to run side by side with anyone since about lap 60. 14 cars on the lead lap, lots of them still making their moves through the field. Points battles going on in each other's heads. They know who they're running against in points. We'll sum it up towards the end of the evening, but we're approaching lap 100 here shortly with 33 more to go. Beyond that, it is going to be a little bit of a dicey move here. Bob, what do you feel? You feel like it's a half and half with these drivers for pits?
I think the guys that pitted, in the first few laps of that are probably outside of a window where they can do this on one stop. Could be wrong, but I was told lap 24, David Johnson ran out of fuel on track earlier. That being said, some of these guys we saw are 85 and lap 86. They might be in a position to stretch it out, but the pits cycle started around lap 83 or 2, I believe it was. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. We'll do a quick field rundown here as field works. Lap 97, we have Mitchell Reeves in that 02 machine out front. Jason Hughes in a little bit of battle at the moment, but that 58 machine currently shown in second. Judd Danielson in the 85 machine in third. Dustin Lee in that number 2 in number 4. Jason Covington in 5th. We have Panic, Robert Mattis from Colorado Springs, Colorado in 6th. Jeff Happy Gilmore running now in 7th. Kevin Fetty in 8th. We have Sean Dewar in the 9th position. Mark Magic Hughes Jackson in the 3 machine, now in 10th. David Johnson in 11th. Kyle Chadwick in that 161 machine in 12th. 13th, we have the man, the myth, the legend, T. Rowdy, Travis Browder in that 18 machine. Josh, not Michael Scott, in 14th. And that is all of the cars on the lead lap at this point here at Kansas.
Yep, a little bit of some battles going on. Real battle here for second. They're dicing it up. Judd Danielson putting the move on the 58. 58 going to look for maybe a crossover on the next corner he goes through. Judd really holding that bottom Jay Smoke wants a podium finish here at Kansas. This is home track for him, as is Mark Jackson. They're planning on going to
watch
Kansas.
that! Watch that! He was trying to make a move there on Judd Daniels. He just kept rolling right up in front of him, almost getting a wall. Both those machines, that 58 machine, now looking down to the bottom of Judd Daniels and an 85 machine, side by side, down towards the stripe, Jeff.
Yep. Those guys are really putting on a show. Mitch is on his own show, I'm sure, out there. We'll check on him here shortly, but these guys are door-to-door with lap traffic coming up on the high side. Jason Smoke Hughes is going up, went down to the bottom, 70 machine. They're going to have to scoot on up there. 85 got a little bit of nose on the 58. 58 just barely holding on to the number 2 spot.
Yeah, 58 doing a good job holding the bottom without much help draft-wise. They do have a few of the damaged vehicles they're going to have to maneuver their rounds here as they head off down in the turn 1. One of those cars down on the bottom in Jason's line, actually, at the moment. Jason now under fire for that 3rd position with Dustin Lee. Jason Covington now working their way around the high side. Jason's kind of pinned down on that bottom side, but the older tires, he can't really roll off the corner the way that he quite wants to. But still doing a good job down there on the inside. Judd Danielson is now in 2nd.
Yeah, a little bit of a shake-up there with those lap traffic. I think it put a little bit of dirty air on the inside car, which was Jason Smoke Hughes at the time in the 58 machine. He traveled now back pretty good ways to 5th. Still top 5 and really good here. But Trent Drum out there, yes, they are flat-footing it. They are not lifting. Early on, if you go back and look, it was side by side by side through most of the field. It's still that way for the most part. I'm sure they're just running high RPMs, but Bob, in his great explanation of this aero package with that spoiler, a lot of downforce, mentioned an IndyCar-esque feel to it.
Yeah, definitely an IndyCar feel from practice. Pins, at least for 12 laps. I didn't do a full fuel run, but I'm pretty sure they're still running pretty close to pins. And now Jason Hughes now making his way down to pit road, lap 104. Definitely outside that pit window. And bad news for fans of T-Rowdy, Travis Browder. He has retired for the night, Jeff. I'm not sure if he had damage or some kind of problem, but pit cycle and the pit window is open down here on pit road. Panic Mattis also on pit road with Jason Hughes.
Yeah, that's going to help out some of those points guys that are going on that needed guys to retire, like Wes, Ray Richard, John Pansula in that mix too. Interesting to see what's going on with these pits. You mentioned some of them may be able to stick it out. I'd like to see who those guys are. I imagine Brian Tribble had that in his mind, but he's a few laps back and off the track. Kevin Fetty, we saw from the 91 early on at Indianapolis, I think. He made a good call, got stuck out there with the yellow in the front position, essentially getting a rain win. And he may be looking at the same thing here again.
Absolutely, Jeff. I believe you're going to have to run to 109 to make this the last pit stop of the night. Bad news there for Jason and Panic, because they're not making this amount of laps with that fuel load.
Yeah, we've been wrong before.
We definitely, while we were watching all that happen, we've had some other pit stops occur that we missed.
Yep, many pit stops going on.
It's is our leader, Mitchell Reeves, down on pit road, now finishing up his service here on lap 107. It was 85, I think, or 4 that he last pitted, right? Or was it 3? I don't think he can make it from here either.
Judd Danielson calling out there on YouTube. He's running 10th, but he's just in the middle of a pit cycle, so we'll see where he runs it out to be. He was one of the first guys to pit, along with Jason Smoke Hughes. Now the 10 machine, if we look out front, the 10 of Jason Covington running the number 1 spot. He's got some pitting coming up to do. He's running it to the very last drop of fuel.
Yeah, Jason Covington, Jeff Gilmore, Sean Dower, I believe has not pitted, as well as Magic Shoes, Mark Jackson. These might be guys that can make it, and I'm not really sold on like Mitchell Reeves and these other guys that are already pitted being able to make it to lap 133, Jeff.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to see Jeff Gilmore getting a little bit of aero help from the man running a few laps down. 57 getting help from the 4, Wes Holland, Bad Apple Racer, running with Mr. Gilmore. It's he's looking for spots and spots only. He's going down with the 57.
Look out. We had some contact there. The 57s, man, we got a car looking like a yo-yo off the wall, bouncing and bouncing and bouncing.
Ray Richer.
Yeah, Ray Richer. He yo-yoing that thing off and on the wall. He's still down there heading his way into turn 1, but watching Jeff Happy Gilmore, one of the last cars to make a pit stop here as he begins lap 111, completing lap 110. And I feel good about saying that this guy can make it out to the end with the fuel load.
Yeah, he definitely can. I'm not sure why Ray Richer went to the wall. Maybe he last second decided to not go down the pit road and had to hit the wall from a different competitor. But there goes those two cars off into the sunset. Here goes Mitch Reeves, though. He's still running out and alone, about now probably 7 seconds from the second place position.
Yeah, Mitch is just really doing a great job. Blowing my mind. I really didn't think one car could run faster like that without any drafting up. I felt like it was like Daytona, Jeff, where you really relied on having drafting help to achieve the fastest lap time. And Mitch doing one hell of a job. We're going to have to probably bring that 0-2 machine that Foot Brakes driving down into Tech and tear it apart and find out what he's doing, Jeff.
Now, it's also interesting to see in the NASCAR as what might be foretold, obviously with more drivers and a little bit, I think they're more professional in the fact that they can drive the car better than most of these guys, sometimes at least. And if you get singled out here like this, it's not the end of the world, at least on what we can see for Aero.
Absolutely. Mitch now working 113, nearing that 20 to go. I'm going to step away for just one moment as my pit stop cycle has opened up.
Yeah, I'll keep it going here. Mitch Reeves still out in front. Judd Danielson, our second place. Oh, we got some possible contact there. 58 machine had to duck below the 7 or above the 76. Almost made contact. That is the real battle. They are once again grouped up. I don't know how they do it each time, but they're still playing in the box here. 58, 85 battling it out. 58 well slow off that corner. 85 going to get a good run down the backstretch. 14 of Robert Mattis just peeking in there. Going with his teammate this time, giving a little bit of aero bump. 14 down right behind the 58. 85 is going to get singled out as the rest of the cars dive down to the inside. 85 not getting too much aero help. The 2 and the 10 really playing games here, going up and down with who gets the air on the rear spoiler. It's anyone's game here. 58 now leaving the 14 behind on the bottom. Now goes back down to the bottom. 85. It is a dicey situation up here for second place on backwards towards 6. This is going to be the race here. Mitch really checked out. It's about 6 seconds from second place to Mitch. 0-2 machine has all but this one, unless we get that different colored flag out here. Not wanting to see that, as we have had multiple green flag pit stops. 85 now taken back second on the outside with a huge run.
Yes, that 85 machine now working his way down around Jason Smoke. Jason Smoke's trying to battle back on the inside, drops in and gets that draft as they head off towards the stripe, Jeff Wood. No tires, no fuel. One new cold beer on my pit stop, by the way, folks. And we should be able to make it to the end.
Yeah, hopefully we do. 85 now really, this has got at least a one-car gap there. These second and third place drivers, Judd Danielson, Jason Hughes, really putting on a good show out front. This is where they need to stay. They got a bunch of hungry guys looking for the podium position too, as is Robert Mattis. He wants a podium spot. Judd Danielson getting as much points as he can. He has to play somewhat safe. He's a race car driver and he wants to finish as high as he can, but he's got to think about that too. Machines moving up. Look at that. 57 now entering the equation with the drafting help of the Ford machine.
Absolutely, and again, he's the guy I feel really good about making it to the end, and I'm real iffy on these other guys. Just a quick word on Robert Mattis, Panic as we call him, Jeff Wood, a very, very accomplished sim racer. Put the time, effort, and commitment into running the NASCAR iRacing series, I believe it was 2 seasons ago, won the championship, did a hell of a job. So this guy's a very accomplished sim racer, especially in these Cup cars. Look for big things out of him tonight. Jeff Gilmore now working his way down to the inside with drafting help from Wreckham West Holland of Jason Covington. That battle side by side as they cross the stripe.
Yeah, I don't think the Ford machine until right now has left the rear end bumper of the 57. He's giving 57 a chance. The Ford just wants to mix it up here this evening as best as he can. It's exciting for him to see some side-by-side action finally, even though he is currently running 19th, 12 laps down, not being able to make up too many positions with no caution flags. They are door-to-door now, offering a different racing style. Let's quickly go up to Mitch as we're in the waning laps of this race. We'll see what he's doing. He's quiet as ever, though.
Yeah, he's way up front. Unbelievable. 3.8 second lead last time by on that Mitchell Reeves machine.
Yep. Mitch Reeves actually, from what I've seen, has lost about 2 seconds overall. He might have had a mix-up, but he's now got the 01 on his rear spoiler, who is keeping pace, maybe slowing him down some.
You know what, Jeff? He's saving fuel. He knows he's screwed. He can't make it. He's slowing down a lot.
Well, 01 machine. Yeah, let's go inside the cockpit of the 02, who is now going to be within viewing shot of his competitors.
They're running him down. They over 2 seconds closed up. Judd Danielson, clearly see him. He's within 6 car lengths as they work out of turn 4. Mitch is really slowed down a lot. He's going to be overtaken by this pack. In this pack, of course, we have Jeff Happy Gilmore battling almost contact with Dustin Lee as they work their way down into turn 2. Dustin Lee, Jeff Happy Gilmore battling for that 5th spot out of turn 2. Mitchell Reeves now has Judd Danielson side by side in a battle for now for the lead. It looks like Jason Hughes is going to go for the lead down to the bottom out of turn 4.
Yep, Jason Smoke Hughes out to the lead. It's obviously saving something. He's gotten way back there. There goes the 58 machine. Mitch still wants to save, but he's now got the guy that doesn't need to save behind him. Judd Danielson still running his own race. Gilmore, as you said, you think is the most clear of this situation to get to the end. It looks like some of the guys are maybe following Mitch's situation here too.
Yeah, this is an interesting circumstance. Field now working lap 124, will begin lap 125. Laps are winding down rather quickly here in Kansas. Jason Hughes showing the way. Judd Danielson now in second. Robert Mattis now in third. Mitchell Reeves, who was, for all intents and purposes, Jeff, kicking ass all night, is dropping like a rock through this field. He has got to be saving fuel. Running 3/4 throttle, or I'm not sure exactly how you can really save fuel at a track where you're flat out all the time. But he's definitely off the pace.
Yep, mixing it up, as Donald King points out. Definitely mixing it up, and the action really hasn't shifted except for Mitch Reeves's. Oh, Wes Holland in the wall in front of Mitch Reeves. Gets it off easy. There's Ray Richard, Mitch Reeves, and Wes Holland 3 wide.
That's another one on you, Jeff. I don't know if D'Amico got you on that one.
No, he didn't.
Anyway, having a little
out front
banter back and forth with the production truck. This is an interesting circumstance. Not sure how this fuel is going to play out. I might be wrong, and everybody going to make it, Jeff. But I don't think these guys pitted, in that scenario, are going to make it. I really feel like Jeff Gilmore is in the catbird seat as far as making it on fuel. The rest of these guys, I think, need a splash based on the information I was provided.
Yep. I mean, they could be getting better fuel mileage now that they're behind one another, like I said, lifting and whatnot. But 85 almost contact with the 10. They're running differently for sure. As Mitch has definitely dropped back, and it looks like he's picked up Jeff Gilmore, who's real saving again. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't have the 4 behind him.
And got the 14 coming this time. I think this time by we're going to see a lot of guys jump down there and top off. They're in the spot, Jeff, where they're going to need to get to pit road and top it off, because if the caution comes out, we're in that situation where the race
There goes
will
the
end,
58 and the 14.
under caution. Did have some feedback from the league owner on Mitch, kind of calling him out on Mitch Reeves. Way slow down through turns 1 and 2. It's almost like the car's not even running, Jeff. Gonna watch this battle up front, but I think Mitch is really milking every drop out of that fuel cell that he can, and trying to make it. Jeff Gilmore, who I believe is in the best spot here, he might be tonight's winner. I don't believe that the 3 in front of him are going to make it at all.
Yep, and they are still dicing it out here. Jason Covington not putting it down on the speedway that time by. He's got Dustin Lee in tow with Wes Holland with a little bit of push. Jeff Gilmore still there. This could be a different shakeup in points. Mitch still on track, like you said. Judd Danielson, though, now on pit road himself. He's lost some spots.
And this time by, no takers in that top 4 pack, or top 3 pack, rather. Looking at Jason Covington, Dustin Lee, Jeff Gilmore. That was one lap car kind of in that mix at the moment.
Yep. Mitch now 7 seconds behind this big old pack. 8 seconds, excuse me. Judge Danielson, like I said, was down on pit road. Sean Dewar now in the mix of top 5. We're still going to view the battle up front because we don't know what's going to happen. Jason Covington really not running for points, just running.
Popsicle sticks in this air to go, and getting from the production truck. Somebody is out of fuel. And Mitchell Reeves cutting the engine further back, just trying to salvage what he can. I think he's all good due respect. I think he's screwed if he's cutting the engine and he's that close on it, Jeff. He's going to lose a ton of track position out there. Watching that field now, working lap 132, still no takers. Jason Covington, Dustin Lee, Jeff Gilmore right there in the top 3.
Yep, white flag is out here. Dustin Lee making a move. This is lap 133, white flag event. Jason Covington on the outside, Dustin Lee there. Jeff Gilmore, you said he's good on fuel. Let's see how good the guys in front of him are on fuel. Jason Covington really holding strong. It's going to come down the line with these two. Who's going to be? It looks like Jason Covington.
Wow, side. Jason Covington will cross the stripe. Jeff Happy Gilmore in second. A great last lap battle on Dustin Lee. That was a good battle, and these guys made me look wrong, man. I didn't think the 10 or the 2 was going to make it, but somehow they did. They must have been saving during that stretch. And just a quick look back, Mitchell Reeves struggling in 7th spot currently. He is not, I don't think he's taken the checkered flag yet. I'm not even sure that car is running, to be honest with you. But, wow, huge development after dominating for so long, Jeff. He's coasting. He was coasting and out of gas across the line. Mitchell Reeves, after dominating so much of this race, finishes as the last car on the lead lap.
Mr. Gilmore, if you're out there in YouTube land and you hear my voice or Bob's voice or whoever's voice talking to you, we'd love to see you on TeamSpeak. Seeing you in right now, finishing second here this evening. So hopefully we'll get you up here momentarily. But let's go ahead and start our conversation with these guys. I'll pick up the first guy here. Finishing in 3rd spot tonight was the number 2 of Dustin Lee, mixing it up there at the end. Dude, you had to run towards 1st. You almost got it, but fell back to 3rd. Exciting finish nonetheless. Tell us about your evening.
It's pretty good. Bunch of issues on pit road, but yeah, that's normal for me. But yeah, good finish. Probably could have walked away with 2nd there, but you know, I had to try at least. You know, if I wasn't trying, you know, I shouldn't even be out here in the first place. All
right, man. Well, I mean, you had a huge amount of gas saved. You obviously did something different than your teammate there, who's probably pretty upset with himself, looking for that win. Mitch dominated, but Covington coming away with the win. You, like you said, mixed it up there. What do you see with this aero package, and how comfortable were you running it?
It's pretty comfortable. The bottom was definitely a place to be at the start. Then, everybody kind of migrated towards the top. So, these cars are real fun to drive now. They're obviously pretty tight compared to what they used to be. So, yeah, I'm liking it so far.
All right. It's been different running out there, going on, but it has to be exciting. Podium finish here this evening in the Cup car. Not really involved in the point. Well, actually, yes, you are. Excuse me.
Yeah, actually, I was just going to say, Jeff, looking at the points, tonight's finished us, and I believe you're going to transfer into that next round. So what do you have in sight there for next week at Phoenix and this next round of the chase?
I'm actually looking forward to Phoenix. It's one of my favorite tracks. So, hopefully we can come out and have another good show. And last week was pretty good too, and just ended up a bad call on the going in the pits there. Kind of lost a bunch of positions, but hopefully things are kind of turning around and we can put together some good runs here.
All right, Dustin, any shout outs you want to give for your race finish here this evening?
Yeah, shout out to my team Exile. It was a good showing tonight. Hate Mitch didn't walk away without the dominating way he did, but nonetheless, they knew we were here.
All right, Dustin, we'll see you next week as we believe you transfer on. Good race, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
All right, up with the next one here will be Jeff Gilmore and Mr. Bob.
Jeff Happy Gilmore, welcome to the post-race show. Glad you were able to get in TeamSpeak, brother.
Yeah, I had to rush over there. I forgot. I think I'd finished top 3 tonight, so I didn't worry about it. But thanks for having me.
Why did you pick as the winner? I thought you were the only guy going to make it on fuel based off of the laps that guys was betting and watching how that was cycling out. But you did a real good job that last lap battle. Were you playing the fuel card? Did you think that you're probably one of the only cars going to make it on fuel in that last run?
Yeah, I topped off that last caution, went down pit road again, second time to top up, and there was a couple other guys there too, but I thought Jason was good because he was kind of on the same strategy, pit about a lap before me, and I went an extra lap just to be sure. And then Dustin, yeah, I guess he made it too. That was pretty good. But yeah, I thought I had them covered on fuel, and then I got to thank a big thanks to Wesley Holland, man. He was lapped. He came in late there, missed the start, and he pushed the heck out of me for half of that race to get me back up to that lead pack. I had lost them 8 seconds due to that wreck. The caution didn't come out. I checked up for it, and I lost 8 seconds to them. So I couldn't have done it without him. I couldn't have been up there battling for the win. So thanks to him.
Yeah, actually, Jeff Wood actually alluded to that in the late stages there, and that really did work out good for you. And speaking of working out good for you, looking at the points, it looks like you're definitely in the next round of the chase, the class of 8, if you will. Next 2 tracks, we have Phoenix and Darlington. What are your thoughts for the next 2 weeks here at Loose Lugnuts Racing? And are you going to make the Final 4?
If I keep running the way I have and get through some incidents and things like that can happen, I think I could be there. But I'm just happy to be in the top 10 in the chase with these guys. That's, I've missed a few races and stuff too, but just glad to be here with them. Good bunch of racers. That was a great race right there. Phoenix is a mediocre track for me. Darlington, I can be really good or I could wreck out. So that's the way Darlington is.
Well, all right. Before we let you go, Jeff, any high fives, fist bumps, and shout outs you want to give?
I gotta thank the league, like just said there, great league, Loose Lugnuts, and we're running a great show, and I'm really proud to be running here with these guys. So thank them, and thank you guys for broadcasting as well. You guys do a great job on the broadcast there, so keep up the good work there, guys.
All right, we appreciate that. And that's Canada's own Jeff Happy Gilmore bringing it home second. Jeff Wood, let's get our tonight's winner up here.
Yeah, Jason Covington there on the top of the podium in that 10 machine, sneaking out a win. Excited as all get out, I guess. Jason, not really involved in that points here, but dude, what a win.
Oh yeah, man, that thing feels good. This Biscuitville Chevrolet's been having some pretty bad races here lately, so it feels really nice to get a win finally.
Oh yeah, I bet most definitely it was a tough race. You were one of the few guys, probably all the way back to Mark Jackson, who finished sixth, who had legitimately saved. The rest of them that were battling with you had to duck off, like Jason Hughes and Robert Mattis and Judd Danielson. They finished a lap down. But where did you come in and know that you had enough fuel?
Oh, my crew chief Brian, he was on the box there telling me, 24 laps was all I could make it. So we come in with 25 to go, 24 once we cross the line. So I knew it was going to be super close.
Yeah, it looks like you got a little bit help back to pit road. Exciting, dude. I know you're here to help support your teammates and whatnot with Covington Motorsports. You got any ideas of you're going to Phoenix and Darlington?
Yeah, we'll probably be here for the rest of this season and probably from here on out.
All right. Always good to get a Loose Lug Nuts win here at a tough track with tough competitors. Jason, any shout-outs you want to give before we let you walk away?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, shout out to Covington Motorsports and everything we do together, to make racing fun. Because, if it's not fun, we wouldn't be doing it. Want to give a shout out to John for everything he does for the league and just everything in general, the paints and everything. You and Bob, y'all put on a good show. Keep everybody entertained while we out here racing.
Appreciate that.
Yep, Jason, thank you for those kind words, and we'll see you next time you're out on the track, buddy.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was our race winner of the 10 machine. Had a great race, Bob. What do you think about this evening?
Well, I'm just gonna run down actually some of our competitors here real quick. Of course, we had Jason Covington, Jeff Gilmore, Dustin Lee, our top three. Sean Dower in fourth, Kevin Fetty in fifth. Magic Shoes, Mark Jackson, the Kansas native, in sixth. Mitchell Footbrake Rees, last car on the lead lap. Huge disappointment on his part, I think, in those closing laps with not enough fuel. Toker, David Johnson, eighth. Kyle Chadwick in ninth and Jason Smoke in 10th. That was the top 10 here at the finish. But Jeff, looking over at the point screen, which has not been officially updated by the sanctioning body, seeing some things here that might be interesting. Looking at Johnson, Dustin Lee, of course, he had a great finish. I think he's going to advance. Ray Richard had a bad run. He's not going to advance, but I wonder if Mark Jackson was able to score enough points and actually advance into that class of 8. It's 38, 39, 40, and 42 back. He was really close on that bubble position, so it's going to be interesting when Ronnie Klein gets that points updated. But
yeah, Brandon Murray actually involved in the points, not scored here tonight. Final thoughts here on tonight, Bob?
Yeah, tonight overall though it was a good race. We didn't see, we saw some cautions. We expected that. Actually expected a lot more, to be honest with you, Jeff. But field got kind of strung out. We saw some fuel strategy. We saw really a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. It was a good race. We saw a guy dominate and not actually capitalize on that, and we saw a guy that had a tough night last night and actually turn it around and end the weekend on a high note. That, of course, being Jason Covington. Huge thank you to all the folks that watched this, and huge thank you to Michael D'Amico down there in the MaxSpeed production truck doing what he does, and thank you guys for having me tonight.
All right, Bob, we're going to go ahead and end it. Thank you, everyone, like Bob said, for viewing here on MaxSpeedTV. This has been the Top Shelf Auto and Detailing Cup Series here at Loose Lug Nuts Racing. We'll see everyone back next week for the Top 8 Chase race at Phoenix. Good night, everyone, and happy Easter.